Well, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'd probably remember I had a bad injector a couple months ago or something. And I just swapped it out for a new injector, and the truck's been running great, no issues at all there. But I pulled that injector apart the other day completely. Like the nozzle and everything off of it, and then the solenoid off, and then everything out of the body. You see I got a full diagram here that I was kind of referencing. Helps a lot. But I mean, I cleaned it up a lot. It was really dirty in there, and I noticed some things that would prevent it from working that I fixed. And I got it all back together, I'm pretty sure correctly. And I put it in my truck, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna try to pull it apart again and see if I can find what I did wrong, or if not anything else, it'll be a good video to show people what's inside these things, because I couldn't really find a very good video online of people doing this. I can find some guys in like Taiwan and stuff like that pulling them apart and building them, but they're pretty low quality and they don't really say what they're doing, and they're not English or anything. So here you go, we'll pull this thing apart. Well, first, before you can do anything, you need to take off this like mounting point here, because there's a flat spot under there. It just allows you to put it in this tool that I built, so you can undo the nozzle and the solenoid. And just for the solenoid, you just need like a 1-inch deep socket, and then I just like ground it down a bit, if you can see in there, and it fits really good. I tried a 1 1/16, and it was a bit loose. It didn't seem like it would work very well. And then the nozzle just is 15 deep socket, and inside the injector right here, this number 16, he is a 3/8 hex, so you need that too. Other than that, it's mostly just normal tools like screwdrivers and picks and stuff like that. Well, once you pull your O-ring off from right here, and then you get this clip off, then you can pull this guy off, which you can see it has a little taper bit, that's so it goes down on that, and then you can get this mounting piece off. And you just got to remember see how one side's like curved and one side's flat. You want the curved side to go down. It kind of like seesaws in there when you're tightening the injector in. But simple enough. And I just pulled the copper wash off. Now I can get my injector here and put it in my tool. You see how there's like a flat piece inside of it now. And we can get my 15. See if I can do it by one hand. No, too tight for one hand. One sec. Well, I can't see the screen while I'm doing this, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just undoing the, I don't know, whatever this thing is. Nozzle hold down nut, maybe? I don't know. It's the hold down thing. Got the nozzle come off here. And then both these dowel pins come out. You've got to make notice of that so you don't lose them. And then we can tap this little guy out here, then there'll be a spring. And then there should be a shim in there too, which is an adjusting shim. Yeah, there's a shim. This is actually, they come in different sizes, and then when you're building, you're supposed to calibrate it with those shims apparently. Nothing else in there. And then in the nozzle here, you can pull the needle out. Oh, there it is. Came right out. When I first pulled this thing apart, it was a lot dirtier. And it was like all seized. I had to like hammer stuff apart, but I already rebuilt this the other day, so it should be pretty not too bad. So that's pretty much it for down here. That's all you can take apart at this side of the injector. Hopefully you can see it on video. You got this little guy here first, and then the spring, and then the shim in there, and the two dowel pins, and then the nozzle with the needle inside, and the hold down. Oh, now hopefully nothing's going to fall out of here. Shouldn't be anything else in there. Should be able to put it in my tool here, and probably need two hands to do it. I'll pull that off real quick. Alright, hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. There's a shim and a spring right here straight away, so you gotta make sure you don't drop it. See right there? There's the solenoid in there. I don't think there's anything else in there. And then we got this spring. And then there's a shim right here too. Let's just leave that there for a second. This little hold down nut here on the solenoid comes off. Just push it down. I had it out of there before. Anyways, it does come off. It does come off of there. If you wanted to replace the solenoid, it'd be really easy. You could do it in the truck. As long as you didn't lose this shim and this spring, you could very easily replace the solenoid in the truck. So now next we get this little, well, there's a shim in here first, but it comes out with this thing, so let's pull this thing out first. So, and on the bottom of that, if you see, there's a little ball that's like 1 millimeter. It's all stuck together right now, which is perfect, so let's put it right here. Everything's stuck together, the shims and everything, so it's perfect. Okay. So I just pulled that out from here. See, there's a hole down in there where the ball sits. The ball sits right on there. And let's move this out of the way. Whoa. See, there's a shim on the top. And then there's this piece, and then another shim underneath, and then down here, if I can get this to focus. That's actually just sitting there. I'll hit it with, see, like my finger's way too big, I can't touch it, it's huge. Compared to this thing, it's just sitting there, see? Oh, there we go. There, that's the ball. I'll lose this thing. And then we got this seat that the ball sits in. And then a shim on the bottom of that. And then a shim on the top of that. And then this little valve thing that has some movement. It does open and close. And we can pull that apart too. Here, one sec, I'll show you. Well, to get this thing apart, there's like a spring in here that's replaceable. So obviously you need to be able to pull it apart. But there's a C-clip here on the outside, and there's another one like on the inside of the spring. And I just built a tool out of like an old welding rod that I was able to push in here. And once you push it through these two holes, you can move the spring out of the way enough that it gives you access to push the clip out. Let's see if I can do it real quick here. Just spin it around a bit. It's in the wrong spot. See, now the clip is coming out of there. And then it allows you to be able to push this up now enough to get this other clip out of there. And pull the top off, and then the spring, and then you can pull the little valve out of the bottom. So next we can pull this 3/8 hex out and go a little further. Well, out of all our pieces, we're following the diagram pretty much exactly so far. I wish I could give you the correct names of what I'm doing here, but this PDF I found is not English, so I can't really help you there. But other than that though, we've done everything correctly. We've got the shim, the spring, the clip, that whole piece there, and then the little valve with the little seat and the ball. Everything's there. The only thing we haven't pulled off is this O-ring here, which is just still on the body. I'll pull that off right now. It's right there. And then yeah, I'm gonna put this away real quick so I don't knock it over into the dust and lose it forever, and then we'll pull that out. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. The solenoid does come off. This will hold on. I also noticed on this solenoid, it doesn't look like it's supposed to be there. It looks like there's some sort of an arc on it. Yeah, don't think that's factory. I looked at some online and they didn't have that on it. But this solenoid itself worked fine. It was just the injector was really leaky. Alright, we can get this next bit out now. If I can get some light here. That piece in there. I already cracked it free with the tool, so it's just finger tight now, but get it out of there. So you just got this little hex plug tool thing. And then when I first pulled this thing apart, this was seized in there. It didn't even come out at all. I had to like hammer it out of there. You can push from this side, because if you look at the diagram, that's the last piece in there, is this thing in here we're trying to take out. So you can push it from the other side if it's stuck in there. I don't think it's supposed to be stuck in there though. Oh yeah, it's like seized in there. Yeah, that's definitely an issue there. I think the seal in here is bad. I think that was my whole issue. Inside there. So then here you got your little pin. This was super dirty when I first pulled it out, but I cleaned it yesterday. Let me pull this pin out too. And you can see there's a little bit of there's like an oil port there, or not an oil port, like a diesel injection port there, I guess you could say. And if you look in the inside of here, there's like a wear point on one side. I'll see if I can show it. You can see where that is supposed to be sitting in there. It's exactly opposite to a drain point in there. Here, I'll need to turn the light on. See that sitting right there. There's a drain point on the other side, right there. Other than that though, that's everything that's in there. I mean, you can see right through now. Except for the this 21 and 22 seal. The last pieces to come out, and I managed to get them out here. The Teflon seal and the washer, they both don't really look like they're in that great a condition. Even the washer looks like it's like separating, if I can show it. I'm not sure. Yeah, and by the way, to get this seal out, I just used a heat gun on this. I just heat up this body like really hot, so I couldn't even touch it, and then it came out a lot easier. Because when it was cold, there's no chance of it coming out. Well, there you go. That's a whole Dodge Common Rail injector, completely disassembled. Other than just this piece here, but I already took that apart and showed you, so I figure I wouldn't need to for this part. But yeah, I looked for a long time online and I couldn't find any photos like this or any videos or anything, so I mean, at least from an amateur's point of view, there's some professional versions, but they're kind of hard to follow because they don't really explain what they're doing, and they have all the specific proper tools and everything. Like, I just use screwdrivers and welding rods and stuff like that, so anybody could do it, anybody could pull it apart, but I don't think I'd recommend everybody doing it because it's like, as you can see, there's some small pieces in there. Like, look at that ball. I looked at it on the spec sheet, it's like just over 1 millimeter big, so it's really small. And it really needs to be super clean in here for it to work too. Like, if you look at some of the holes. So I mean, unless you got a pretty clean work area and you're pretty good at this kind of stuff, I wouldn't really recommend it. I mean, that being said, I'm doing this in a welding shop here, so like, I mean, if you want to give her a go, give her. Other than that though, I think this is pretty much as far as I'm going to take this video for today. I'll leave that on the screen. Hopefully, if you want to take a screenshot, you can. And I'll put a link to this Injector PDF that I found online, so you can look at it or download it or whatever. But yeah, other than that, that's it. I can't do anything else until I get rebuild parts, because this Teflon seal is done because I ruined it pulling it out, but I'm pretty sure it was already ruined anyways. And this little washer underneath it, that's separated too, which was already like that when I pulled it out. And the rebuilds come with one of these springs, one of these springs, one of these springs, the O-ring, copper washer, O-ring. I think that's about it. I think that's all that comes in the rebuild kit. But yeah, this shim here is an adjustable shim. They come in different sizes that you're supposed to use to calibrate it. And also these two shims are also calibration shims. These are not the same size. If you get them mixed around, it's definitely not going to work. And this is calibration shim 2. And there's actually also a ball bearing and a shim under a set screw in the top of this. If you look under there, you can pull it off. I'm not sure what the reason behind that is, so I'm not gonna pull that off. I was like looking at a video of some guy in like Japan or something. He was like adjusting the injector while it was running through the top of this. So maybe that's what that does, but I don't know. I have no idea. So I didn't pull that piece apart, but I don't think you need to, because even if you do buy a new solenoid like this just to replace, it comes already put together. So I'm not going to touch that for now. Other than that though, that's as far as I can go for today. I'm going to wait until I get a rebuild kit, and then maybe I'll make a video building it up with the rebuild kit and then put it in my truck again. So far, I haven't had any luck rebuilding injectors for these things.